There was a guy who had just left us about 3 weeks earlier. I think he's about 34. He was a professional football player. That's American football, but in Canada, the Canadian Football League. And he was injured and had to stop playing. And football had been his life. This is something he'd been preparing for since he was a kid. And, began playing when he was 10 or 11 years old. He was playing professional ball. He got depressed when he had to stop playing because of this injury. Became hooked on antidepressants. And, life became a disaster. He wasn't working. He couldn't work. He gained a bunch of weight. He felt like a bloated, whatever. And he finally came here. And he fasted, I think, for 23 or 24 days and did the refeeding process. And it was about 3 weeks after the end of his process. He's back home and he comes onto the live and says, I did some deadlifts yesterday and I'm stronger than I've ever been in my life. This is a professional athlete. 3 weeks later, after the process, he's living on fruit and salad. Still is. He's actually coming down this week to volunteer. And he's on his way here now. But he's still living on fruit and salad. He weighs less than he ever has. As a professional athlete, and he's eating a fraction of the number of calories he used to eat, but he's lifting more than he's ever lifted before. And this is what happens. People are amazed at how strong they can be and how quickly they rebuild muscle after the process. But this is what happens. We do consume muscle, and by the time we're 10 or 11 days in, it's almost exclusively fat with a tiny amount of muscle. Now, one of the things that's going on, a term thanks to intermittent fasting. Fasting itself has become much better known, probably easier for people to hear about than it used to be. And one of the things people have probably heard of is autophagy. Phagy, this comes from Greek. Autophagy literally means self-eat. And autophagy is where the body is consuming the stuff it doesn't want to get rid of it and to actually gain energy. It uses whatever it's able to use. And so the body goes in and consumes tumors. It consumes fibroids. It consumes any mass that doesn't belong, any garbage that doesn't belong. It gets rid of what it can and uses whatever it's able to.